Hi, so today I'm going to be taking a look at a OneUp Components dropper post version 2. This dropper post has a number of unique features. The first one is that it has a really low stack height, which means that you can insert the post further into the frame and less of it protrudes above the seat collar. So in the past I've used a dropper such as the RockShox Reverb, and that has a really large seat collar, so even when you slammed it right into the frame it still protruded quite a way above it, whereas this one is nice and low profile. This also has the shortest insertion length of any dropper post on the market at the moment. So say you've got an interruption in your seat tube, such as where a pivot is, or you've got a bend, this will be able to be inserted further into the frame than most posts on the market. And the other feature it has is the ability to shorten the drop on this post. So what you can do is you can shorten it in 10mm increments with a maximum of 20 per size. So this drop is available in sizes from 120mm to 210, which is the one I have here. And as I say, what you can do is you can go up a size and then you can just shim it down to make it shorter, which is a really nice little feature on it, and it's really simple to do. So what I'll do is I'll show you the post in detail, and then I'll show you these various features and how you actually do them. So let's get started. So let's take a look at the dropper in more detail. So it just comes in this simple brown box with an illustration of the dropper on the front with the OneUp logo, and then it's got OneUp's motto on the side, which is a good strategy for life as far as I'm concerned. Then I've got the lever kit. You can just run any lever that you want with this, any cable actuated one. The PNW loam lever is an excellent one, and also the wolf tooth is an excellent one if you're looking for an alternative to this, but I decided to get the OneUp one just to see what it looks like. So let's get the dropper itself out. So in here you've got a little bag with a connector and some grease. So I'll just have a look at that first. In here is some brass pins which are used for lowering the drop height of it, so you can drop it by 10mm with a maximum of 20. So I've got the 210 and you can drop it to 190. And then here's the little connector for the cable to actuate the post, and then they supply you with a little pouch of grease for servicing the post. So I'll just have a look round the post. Here's the actual seat clamp, and then you just remove this, and under there is a Schrader valve for setting the pressure. And then on the back it's got the actual height of the post with the minimum insertion height there. And then here's the actual actuator itself. This is the new 2.1, which comes as standard on all the posts now, which means that it fits into the majority of frames. I think it's pretty much all of them. The exception used to be Santa Cruz frames, so you needed to buy an upgraded actuator, but it comes as standard now. And then to actuate the post you just push that down, and then we'll have a look at the cable kit. So you can get this for a variety of different configurations in terms of how you're going to attach it to the bars. So you can have a bar clamp, or you can have it for the Matchmaker for SRAM brakes. You can also have it for the Shimano ones as well. You get to choose that when you're actually ordering. I've gone for the SRAM Matchmaker. So you see it's got 3 mounting points, the barrel adjuster for the cable, it rotates on a bearing, and then you've got the fittings here. So you've got the actual Matchmaker interface, which is then just mounted onto the actual brake clamp, and you've got a cable end, and then you've got a small screw bolt which actually fits into the lever here, which is where the cable comes out. So you feed the cable in, and then it crimps onto the end there to set the lever. This is now metal. It used to be a composite plastic, but it's now a metal lever, and it's a short throw lever, so I'll get this fitted and show you what it's like. So I'll show you how the actuator works. So I'll get the gear cable out. So you have this small black piece that sits over the cable, so you feed the cable through, and then it sits in the end flush, and this is what actually actuates the post. You feed this into the housing, and then you have the actuator here. So all you need to do is get the black connector, push down on here, feed the actuator in. It's got a little recess it sits into, the cable fits through, and then you push in and the ferrule will sit flush against that, and it will pull down to actuate. Here's what the post looks like when it's installed into the bike. I'm going to quickly show you one of the unique features on this post, which is the ability to lubricate the post while it's on the bike. So this is sort of like a mini service that you can do just to keep the post running nice and smooth. So what you need to do is just extend the post halfway up, and then you're going to undo this collar. You can do this by hand, but if it's a little bit stiff to get started, you can use a strap wrench. You should be able to get it with your hands. And then you just push the collar up. And then the next thing you're going to do is extend the post fully, and the white bushing will become exposed. And this is what you need to clean and then lubricate. So to get this out, you can use your fingers to push it out, but the way I've found easy to get it out is just push the post back in a little bit and then activate it again, and it helps it come out a little bit. And say you're going to clean this bushing off, just a plastic ring, and then apply some of the grease that came with the post in the silver packet, or if you've run out of that, you just use some SRAM butter or slick honey. And then these little recesses here are where you add the brass pins in that I showed you before. So there's 3 of these, and then you can add in 10mm increment. And then once you've done that, you add your lubrication, push your bushing back on, push the collar back on. Once that's back in place, extend your post out. I like to cycle it a couple of times, and then if there's any grease on the shaft of the post, just wipe it clean. So this is basically a mini service, so don't think of it as a long-term fix if your post is starting to get a little bit sloppy. What I'd suggest is doing the full service, which only takes about 5 minutes, but you will need to remove the post from the bike. I'll link to OneUp's website where they have a guide showing you how to do it. It's pretty straightforward, to say 5 minutes to do it. But this is pretty handy to be able to do this on the bike, whereas most posts you normally have to remove it and take loads of messing around. But this is nice and simple, so you can keep the post running nice and sweet. Here's what the post looks like and sounds like when you activate it. And here's what the lever looks like when it's on the bike. So this lever sits slightly higher than most levers that I've used recently. So it takes a little bit of getting used to get the placement right. But once you do, it feels all right once it's on. And this thumb part is textured as well, so it adds a little bit of additional grip, and it's nice and smooth in operation. I'll just show you what the side-to-side play on this dropper is like. So it's got a little bit of movement, like all droppers, but it's not too bad, and you can never notice it when you're riding. That was a look at the OneUp Components Dropper Post version 2. I've only been running this for a few months, so I can't talk about long-term reliability yet, but if I do have any issues, I'll do an updated video talking about them. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the box below. I'm always happy to answer questions, and thanks for watching.